Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 333, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. In the previous issue of Spawn, before we go any further, Spawn finally receives an audience with his former mentor, Cogliostro, now known as Sinn. The ensuing battle proves that Sinn's power has grown exponentially, and that Spawn is completely unprepared for what is going to happen next. In other words, we all know our boy Spawn got his ass whooped. So in the week since the clash with Spawn, word of Sinn's power has traveled far and wide, with all these other demons and hell's demons meeting and trying to pledge their allegiance, and where they're going to pledge their allegiance to, ensuing all this chaos, heralding a crisis for some. While all this is happening, this is creating opportunities for others. So this brother knocks on the door, Iris opens the door, and his name is Cataclysm, and he says he's here to pledge his allegiance to Sinn. So Iris tells him to come in, but he's warned many others also wish to speak to the master, and the list is getting longer. So I suggest you make yourself comfortable. It could be quite some time before Sinn grants you some permission. Cataclysm tells him, well, tell Sinn, he'll want to hear what I have to say. Yeah, I'm sure he does, says Iris, like everyone else. Well, what if that information I have to tell him is information how he can return to hell? You saw what happened last week. Sinn does want to return to hell so he can claim the throne of hell, but he needs the dead zones to do that, and that's where Sinn might want to hear the brother out. So meanwhile, in another place, Jim Downey tells Overkill and Mark and Gang that he's not going to keep saying it. Simmons can't be controlled, and he can't be allowed to control the dead zones any longer. His reckless and arrogance and luxuries that we can't afford. We have to act now. We have to ambush it, because Sinn isn't going to back down. He's going to reinforce. Half the demons on Earth are gathering under his banner. It's only a matter of time before he comes for Spawn again. This is our best opportunity to attack Spawn and do an ambush while he's weakened and not even expected. So we got the element of surprise. And Mark's like, okay, so you want to ambush, but I don't know where he's at. It's okay. When I regenerated Cygor, I established a personal link with him. I've been spying on Spawn for months. And to extract that information on how to control the dead zones or find the power source of the dead zones, Jim Down is like, we need him back here so we can contain him long enough. And Mark is like, yo, I don't like this idea. Let me talk to Spawn first. This feels like we're moving way too fast. We've run out of time, Mark. We attack tonight, says Jim Downing. And Mark's not all the way with this. So he's like, yo, wait, you having second thoughts about this, Mark? Says Jim, I thought you were on our side. I am, but keep in mind, I did everything for you. You asked me to come here on a whim. You're keeping information from me, and I still don't know your full plan of attack or what your full plan is, but I'm asking you to trust me on this. Trust me on this. Return the favor. Let me talk to Spawn before you do this attack. And Jim Downey's like, fine, we'll hold off. We'll grant you that. Talk to him. Maybe he'll prove us wrong, but I'm not holding my breath though, says Jim Downey. Elsewhere, a horror unfolds as Hell's chosen warriors have turned on one another in pursuit of their own sense of survival. And we got 1, 2, 3 Hell spawns feasting, devouring on Cogliostro. Cogliostro, now known as Sinn, is among those whose life force is about to be extinguished. Or so it appears. And then we get this telepath, this guy. This guy comes in talking about, hey, I really thought you'd be much more of a challenge, Sinn, given it was your idea to test me. So, did I pass? And Sinn's like, shut the fuck up. No, you did not pass. You're just a disappointment. And he smashes his head to the ground. Pathetic. And meanwhile, at this long table meeting with Blood and other Hell's demons, that brother right there is just sitting dead and not sitting pretty at all in this meeting. And Sinn is pissed. He's like, these are the best telepaths you guys can find. None of them had anywhere near the level of a psychic power I'll need to break through Spawn's defenses. Oh, we're trying, my lord. Our search still continues. Silence, says Sinn. You've all wasted my time. I should have done this task my damn self. Well, I understand your frustration, Sinn, says Blood the Vampire Lord, but look how far we've come this week. The horrors are willing to pledge their loyalty to you. It's irrelevant if I can't unlock a single dead zone. So get the word out that starting today, says Sinn, every day Spawn refuses to open the dead zones, I will level a new city. Blood's like, yo, that wasn't what we agreed to. You swore to me to leave Earth to my vampires. Calm yourself, Blood. There will be plenty left for you. Alright, this is just to flesh Spawn out. But you underestimate Simmons. He'll rather burn the world down than hand it to the likes of you or me, says Sinn. And Iris comes in, he's like, well, then maybe it's possible that we may not need Simmons after all. What are you saying, Iris? I want you to meet someone, says Iris. So Cataclysm introduces himself. He's like, yo, I've traveled a great distance to be here so that I might offer my services in your journey. And Iris is like, just listen to him, Sinn, listen to him, hear the brother out. And so Cataclysm tells him, for months I've served the vision of the clown, but eventually I could feel which way the tides were shifting. When the throne of hell is claimed, you shall be the one sitting on it, Sinn. My wish is to do everything I can in helping you get there. That's why I've come to tell you, you don't need the dead zones to return to hell. There's another route. Deep underground, in the caves of Omega Island, there's a fissure, a small crack in the fabric of reality between the world and hell. I don't know why or how it's there, I just know it exists. And Sinn's like, that's where I became Sinn, when I was in prison there. Maybe it was that. It doesn't matter, it exists, and now the clown doesn't know how valuable the fissure is. And that's a reference to Spawn's Universe, issue number 1. Card up above, link in description if you want to check out that review to see how this ties in. But now, back to the content. So, Cataclysm is like, so for anyone who's tried passing through it from hell, has failed. I believe with your powers, there's a way to reverse the flow to go from earth to hell, not the other way around. And since I should trust a soldier from Clown's army as the one with all the answers, and that's a very sussy, comeback. And this guy's like, I understand your hesitation. All I can say is you're not the only one that hates Clown. He betrayed me and hundreds of others, so if me helping you allows me to get my revenge, then I'll be your loyal subject. And Sinn's like, okay, well, if what you're saying is true, you'll be richly rewarded, but take a walk with me. I won't tolerate a single lie. Meanwhile, in the base with Jim Downey, Haunt is like, this is boring, man. And Overkill's like, you fight, you strong, but no fighter though. You need practice, you need training. And Haunt's like, man, thanks, but I don't need no practice from no machine. And Overkill just haymakers him in the face, like, all right, bro, just take it easy. You need training. And so Haunt goes at Overkill. I think it's just a funny moment in the comic book. But meanwhile, Jim Downey's having a conversation with some mysterious Hellspawn. And the mysterious Hellspawn's like, you think they're capable of doing what we need, Jim? And Jim's like, they have to. We don't have any other choice. What about you? Are you ready for this? So the mysterious Hellspawn responds with, I would have liked more time, but Al has forced our hand. I think it's a mistake letting Jim Rose and speak to him. I know it's not a perfect situation, but we need to keep Mark on our side, says Jim. Plus, it'll distract him while I figure out how to deal with his medieval Spawn persona, or at least neutralize it. Yeah, says the mysterious Spawn. We agreed on that. The last thing we need is another Spawn interfering with our plan. But speaking of which, Spawn is out there out in these streets, and it's only a matter of time until Sinn comes for him again. Spawn knows this. And if Al is intent on minimizing the loss of human life, when that happens, he needs to take the offensive. It's why the past week he's been hunting day and night, attempting to find his old mentor first. At the very least, he means to flush him out. To accomplish that, he needs to be strong and he needs to be healthy. Because as much as he'd like to ignore it, the last few months he's taken a mounting toll on his body. He needs to rest and he needs time to recover. So he goes into the shadow, back into the base. But how, Al asks, Sinn seems to be growing more powerful each day. He'll continue to press his assaults, and Spawn senses a presence in his lair. You're not supposed to be here. Nice to see you too, Al, says Mark. I'm here because we have a problem. We both do. And I thought you'd be resting, and I heard about your accounting where it said you got your ass whooped. You got knocked out. And Spawn's like, you don't rest during that. That's how enemies conquer their opponents. But you've been at this far too long to not know that. Look, says Mark, I didn't come here to fight. Then what'd you come here for, says Spawn? To warn you and to help. Sinn is just the tip of the iceberg, says Mark. You know that, but you still keep playing your solo game. Solo game, says Spawn? I'm helping the Scorch. That's he. What more do you want from me? I want you alive, says Mark. But that won't happen if you keep being a lone wolf. Have you bothered to ask yourself the question, why am I doing it this way, says Spawn? I'm sure you think you have a valid answer to that, Al, but come on, you're not being realistic. So Spawn's like, you haven't the faintest idea of what you're spewing, Mark. I'm the only one capable of handling this. The rest of you are way too green. Mark's like, no, bro, you're wrong, if anything. You're the last person who should be doing this. You're the biggest target, and you keep letting your emotions get in your way. That's a recipe for disaster. You need to trust me, Spawn. And Mark's like, trust you, huh? Yeah, that's right, trust me. Then when were you planning to tell me that you melded with medieval Spawn? Says Mark, you know? Hell yeah, I know. I've been knowing for a while, so save me your lecture about trust. Now get out. Ow! Wait. And Jim Downey comes in, blasts Al Simmons from the back, and he tells him, I've heard enough, Mark. I've told you this wasn't going to work. And step aside, it's backed to my original plan. We're doing it my way. So they go in to launch an ambush attack on Spawn, and that's where we end this issue. Okay, look, I like Spawn. I do. And do I think this is worth adding to your comic book collection? Of course I do. I'm going to be biased about that. Is this the best issue of Spawn? No, it's not. But does it move the story forward? Maybe not as fast as I would like, but you know what? Foreplay is foreplay. At the same time, the story moves forward. I'm looking forward to the next issue. As long as you give me a reason, in my personal opinion, to go into the next issue, excited to go into it, yo, I'm all in for it, baby. Just give me a good cliffhanger, but keep the story moving. I mean, obviously, I would like it faster, but at the same time, hey, a story is a story to me, my man. At the same time, I obviously prefer Gunslinger Spawn and King Spawn, but I'm okay with the New York strip, and to me, Spawn comic books are New York strips. Spawn comics are about other people trying to take the throne of hell, where King Spawn is about, yo, we want our boy Spawn to take the throne of hell. I love the intertwining and how the stories mix and gel with one another. With all that being said, Spawn, issue number 333. What you guys think of the comic book combo below? Let me know if you'd like to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Link in description if you wish to do so. Support the art, support the industry. And also, this review is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in description to do that. But the greatest compliment you can do is to like the video, subscribe to this channel. It'll help Rated Comics to make more comic book reviews and comic book related content like this, mainly Spawn, but there'll be some other reviews as well. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.